Hello and welcome to Frequency. I am really so excited to be here to be discussing this incredible topic that I have managed to build an entire program around over the past couple of months. This is something that I've been working at in the little in-between spaces, which to some people you might be like, how do you even find in-between spaces? And I'm going to kind of explain some of that to you as well, because as a very busy mother of two, a wife, a homeowner, a business owner, and somebody who loves to travel and to experience so many different things, like my plate is very, very, very full, and yet I have the ability to manage and juggle everything. Hello, Amy. Hello, Kelly. Welcome, welcome. So I am really excited to welcome you into this space, and what I'm going to kind of set the groundwork for you, lay the foundation out so that way you have an understanding of what we're going to be doing for the rest of September, which this program is going to take up the rest of September. I'm really very proud of what I have produced for you, because and honestly, I can't say that the program is like this completeness, because I channel so much, and it really just depends a lot on how spirit wants to show up and how some of the information wants to flow through me, because it's like I write so many things down. I journal a lot. I have random multiple notebooks that have ideas, downloads, courses, programs, poetry, stories, testimonials. Like I have a lot of different things, and because I'm a manifesting generator in human design, for anybody who is not sure about what that is, human design is a really, really, really extraordinary mapping. Like, it's kind of like astrology, and it does use astrology, but it also uses a lot of other modalities, combining them into one as well, including like I Ching, Buddhism, Kabbalah, astrology, etc. So in human design, I am a manifesting generator, and that means that I am a multi-passionate person. I am not the kind of person that can just focus on one thing. Okay. And so let me know if that also kind of feels like you, because I want to get very interactive with some of these discussions, and I want it to feel like you and I are sitting here just having a conversation together. The programs that I teach are to be experienced and embodied. So what that means is that when somebody shows up to a class and they're just taking notes, like, that's wonderful. I'm so glad that you're writing things down. I think that's absolutely great. I'm a note taker. I'm a writer as well. But now we have to take action. It's going to be very important for us to implement the different things that we're learning, different things that we are kind of shedding, really just taking this entire program on, because this is where you're going to see the big shifts in your life. It's like, if I take notes on all of the things that I'm learning, that's great, but if I'm not applying it into my life, then I'm doing myself a disservice. And for those of you who have invested to be here, I really want to make sure that you get everything that you came for and more. The entirety of my existence, my purpose, my passion, my direction, like everything that consists of me, is really about freedom. I really feel that the thing that I probably embody the most, or the thing that has driven me towards the things that I've been driven towards, is for freedom. Personal freedom, financial freedom, spiritual freedom, like free. The feeling of being completely untethered to anything that is solid. Like, I don't like the feeling of being tied down. I don't like the feeling of people telling me what to do, when to do it, how to do it, when I have to show up, when I can leave, how much I'm going to get paid, what the value of my work is. I don't like being under the authority of anything human, And so what I have decided for myself for over many, many years, because this has been a theme in my life since I was very young, is that I realized that I've always been searching for some type of liberation in my body, my mind, my heart, my soul. And this isn't to like put people down or blame people, but I didn't feel like I had the freedom that I was seeking. And freedom feels like a very important thing, because if you look at journal entries from over 20 years ago, if you look at things that I've done, things that like what the baseline of it was, what was the how and the why behind the thing that I was doing, self-liberation, self-permission, self-leadership, these seem to be very common themes in the work that I do. So if we kind of go back to a time when I was just starting my business, which was 4 years ago this month. This is a really big month for me. My daughter turns 17, the business turns 4. My birthday is October 3rd. My husband and I celebrate our 20-year wedding anniversary on September 22nd. Caden is going to be 12 on Halloween. I have the New Orleans retreat in the middle of October. These couple of months are really, really spectacular. We love them. They're very important to our family. And so I really want to take the time to celebrate so many different, I really just want to seize every opportunity that's possible to celebrate and to be excited about the things that are available for us. Because honestly, like what I've created in my life from a vision of freedom, a vision of wanting to help women become more empowered, helping women find their voice, helping women find their truth, helping women develop their spiritual gifts, helping women unleash their feminine instinct, helping women establish very successful businesses so that they can earn properly for what they are delivering, and normalizing what we're doing in this world as women, as business leaders and entrepreneurs and powerful women who have extraordinary gifts that are truly here to help shape the world better, you know, in good, positive, wonderful, high vibrational, love-centered, ascension-centered ways. And so in this process of discovering more about me, which will probably go on for the rest of my life, and I'm completely fine with that. I think that it's extraordinary for my willingness to be wanting to learn so much, and to be okay with just saying like, hey, it's all a journey. I'm in no matter what, and I'm not going to let time or pressure or external influences be the captain at the helm of my ship. Okay, I'm not going to let that happen. I'm not letting that happen. I am the captain. And so as the captain of the ship, it's so important for me to really work on strengthening myself from within. It's so oh, we've got thunder, and now we've got a husky under the desk. Okay, lay down, Jackson, you're fine. It's so important for me to not just establish what is a successful business, not just to establish, you know, having the freedom that I desire to have in my life, to, you know, book a trip for a weekend, to make a purchase, to go to a thing, to do a nice thing for other people, you know, like do a kindness. Like when my sister was going through some of the things that she was going through, where I could just take those few days to book a plane ticket and say, hey, I'm coming, I got you. That felt extraordinary to me. So that's the kind of freedom that I'm talking about, is being able to do things that feel in alignment with my desires, and the time frame that it feels in alignment with my desires. And the thing is that we've gotten very tangled. We've gotten very, very, very tangled. And so the whole birth of frequency really comes from a place of the energy work that I have been studying, practicing, and embodying for over 26, 27 years. And the evolution of that over, you know, these couple of decades, that I've learned so much about energy, frequencies, quantum, coding, identities, alchemy, I mean, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I am a multi-passionate woman. I am not somebody who can just sit there and do one thing and just focus on one thing. So I focus, like my primary focus is freedom, I feel, but in so many different ways. And so in this respect, it's going to be detangling energy, detangling confusion around energy, detangling belief codes. We're going to do a lot of detangling in the first half of this program. And then in the second half of this program, I'm going to really build everything back up, because I want to kind of break everything down and help to defrag the system. And then we're going to recode and reprogram the system. So what I have found in this journey is that it's so much just about all of us. I think that when you're first starting your business and you're first deciding different things for yourself, whether that be like your direction, your messaging, your identity, your tone, what you're going to sell, how you're going to do it, it's so self consuming, you know, like it's very much about you, because as the business owner, as the entrepreneur, as the person who's, you know, making these decisions, it is on you to put things together, right? And to figure things out. So it's my perspective that, you know, that first couple of years that you're in business, you're very much consumed with all of the things that are you. What I need to do to learn, what do I need to do to market, what do I need to do to price, what do I do, what do I do, what do I do, what do I do? And so I bring these things up because I've gone through all of these things, and obviously for anybody who's starting a business or, you know, is like a couple steps behind me in business, then at least I can share some of my own personal experiences and what I've also learned being in very powerful containers with, you know, women who are, you know, 6-figure, 7-figure, 8-figure coaches. And this is a really extraordinary container that I'm currently in right now. So I have this ability to listen and be around women who have navigated all of these things and have faced a lot of the challenges that we have also faced in terms of people not being comfortable with them having that much money, their partners not being comfortable with them having that much money, you know, feeling like they might have something to prove, feeling like they're not good enough. It's interesting that when you can see women still like at a 7-figure a year level that are like, okay, so I'm making 6 figures a month and I really want to increase that. And then now I'm getting kind of all caught up in my feelings. And I'm like, you're making 6 figures a month and you're caught up in your feelings about how you can't scale more? Like, whoa, that's a crazy problem to have, right? But this is honestly what I have seen happen as people grow. People tend to want more. And in the first couple of years of your business, it's going to be all about you, your learning, your evolution, your offers, your presentation, your everything. It's all about you. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? I need ideas. I need to do this. Da, 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 da. Then something happens where you start to find a very beautiful rhythm, which means that the feminine has really started to kick in, where you're not going to feel so pressured and you're not engaging necessarily in like guerrilla marketing. And you start to feel a little bit more soft, and you start to feel a little bit more like, you know, I'm just showing up as myself because I care so much about everybody. And I feel so good about myself and I care so much about everybody that I don't ever actually have to think about what I'm posting, what I'm presenting, what I'm teaching, what I'm doing. Okay, so I started to like really lean into all of these things. And I started to uncover a very important component. And this component is a beautiful, magical word that I really love so very much. And the word is believe. The word is believe. Believe, 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 believe. And so when I started to kind of click with this, it was like, well, how do I believe that I'm worthy of something? How do I believe that I'm worthy of something that I desire? How do I get to an alignment of a place where I can believe that the program that I'm selling and what I've priced it at is, you know, in alignment with what other people will spend to take it, right? I believe that I'm ready for this, but I'm not ready for that. We are completely run by our belief system. And in conjunction with the belief system, we are completely also run by our thoughts and our feelings. Okay? So it's like we've got these belief codes. Because I'm gonna break this down for you too, how I see these frequencies. Because this program, a lot of my programs, you're going to hear me say like, this has been a long time coming. And it's not a long time coming. They're really all a long time coming, because we're talking about things that I wasn't necessarily super extraordinary clear on before I taught them. Meaning I wanted to teach this probably last year. Because it's funny, I was putting this stuff together and I was like, I think I remember like kind of scratching the surface on this last year. And then I pivoted into a different direction. So it's just very interesting because we sometimes will be hard on ourselves for the pivot, but I will tell you right now, listen to the pivot, because the pivot is trying to it's trying to say like, hey, this energy is actually pulling you over here. Please listen to your inner guidance system that will never, ever, ever fail you. Ever fail you. You listen to this, it will lead you to the right place. Okay? But we get in our heads. We get in our heads, and then we have stories, we have narratives, we have different things that are ping-ponging back and forth. And so with all of this said, this is what has prompted me to be like, I've got to teach a program on frequencies. I've got to teach a program on belief codes. I've got to teach a program on alchemy, on transmutation, on how energy is actually really, 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 really happening. Not because I want to discredit anyone or because I'm here to discredit anyone, because that is definitely not what I'm here to do. But, big fat B-U-T, underline it, bold letters. But, I believe that even though some people out there are really, they're trying to put good messages out there for people, I don't think that they have a full grasp on the concepts that they're talking about. I don't think that they have enough mastery in the topics that they're talking about. And some of these things are studied for years and years and years. And so if somebody studied it for a couple of weeks or a couple of months, and then they're like, I am the master of manifestation, I know exactly all the things that need to happen in order for you to be the most magical manifester, because I just took, a 4-week manifestation class, or I just downloaded a manifestation meditation by Gabby Bernstein, and now I'm going to teach you all of the ways of manifestation. And it's like, yeah, that's great. First of all, that's great. I don't believe that anybody has to be at the level of mastery to teach things. I don't think that people have to be, scholarly in all the ways in order to present information and to be taken seriously, to be respected, to be listened to be heard, to qualify as a speaker for whatever thing. I don't know. I feel like people should talk, and they should talk from a place of integrity. They should talk from a place, they should speak these things from a place of truth and authenticity. And to say it with the level of conviction that they believe it in their body. You know what I mean? But that's not usually what I see. I usually see individuals, on Instagram or, social media stuff. It's nothing crazy, and it's nothing like super bad. It's not like, oh my God, we have to cancel all of these people. No, I don't think that either. I believe that they're really trying to do something positive, and I really think that their intentions are probably very good, but I also think that they haven't spent enough time understanding all of the ways, And so, because let me tell you, you want to talk about manifestation, and then some of your manifestations don't show up. It's like you've got to also be ready to answer those questions for people that are like, hey, so I did that thing that you told me and nothing happened. You've got to be ready to take that person to the next level. Like, okay, well, let's dig in. Let's see what's really going on in the inner circuitry of your mind, your body, your heart, your soul. And that's where I want to take you, is that there is a whole hard drive that is you. And so I'm not, like I said, I'm not here to compete with anybody's vision on what this looks like for them. I'm just going to explain my vision and how it shows up for me, because I'm very clairvoyant. And so what I get is a lot of images in my inner mind, and sometimes when people are talking to me, sometimes when something's happening, I'll just randomly start seeing very specific things though. And so what I noticed was that over years of me ignoring this, just ignoring it, because of course, nothing special here. I ignored this, and the truth of the matter is that I've been doing this for a very, very long time, and was completely discrediting myself because I thought everybody did this stuff, and they don't. So if you have spiritual gifts, please claim your spiritual gifts and take full ownership for them, because they are very important. And I'm sure that by the time we get to the completion of this entire program, you will be very clear on that, because we took science classes in school, and we've taken math classes in school, and maybe you watched Bill Nye the Science Guy, maybe you read National Geographic, maybe maybe you have all of these different connections to science and you like documentaries and stuff like that, but there's so much that we weren't taught. And I have to tell you that when I was in school, I could not stand science and I could not stand math. They were so boring to me. Oh my God, so boring. Blech, blech. Oh my God, can we just skip ahead here? We need to go. Except there were two classes that I excelled in. These two classes are geometry, in which I got a 97 for the year, and chemistry, in which I got a 97 for the year. And it's like I've completely just water under the bridge, wiped these things away from my psyche, because I was like, you're never going to use it. Everybody knows you suck at this. You suck at this. Do I really suck at that? Or did the teacher suck and the material sucked and the format sucked? Because I'm actually starting to realize that I'm not as inept in the whole realms of science and math as I once thought I was. I just really didn't like to learn the way that they wanted to teach it. And because I started this off by telling you that I'm not the kind of person that really respects authority. I respect authority. I don't like being micromanaged, and I don't like people telling me what to do. But there are ways that we can communicate where it can be absolutely respectful, and I'm going to be completely okay with that. It's not like I'm just this constant rebel. But when somebody's telling me that, like, all right, well, this is your life, this is what you have to do, this is what's expected, da 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 da, and you have to be like this little soldier robot, that's where I'm like, no, I don't think so, because I think that there's actually a million different ways to reach the finish line, and we've got to like kind of take the blinders off to see what's available for us. And I'm that person. I'm an explorer. I'm an investigator. If you want to study more about human design, I am a 1-3 profile, which means the 1 is the investigator, the explorer, the person that's got to find all of the information, and the 3 is the Phoenix rising, which means that I learn from my mistakes, and I always use my mistakes to harness power moving forward, which is very true for me. Alchemy, this is something we're going to talk about as well. So trying to think of where I was going with all of that. I feel like I've said a lot. We are here to learn about energy. Science, yes. Because in class, I really didn't feel like I got what I needed out of that. I don't think that they did a good job really describing everything in the way that it would have landed for me, because that's not the way that I was there to learn that. And so in school, it reflected I had a bad grade in that class. So everybody in my life pretty much was like, Renee's not sciencey. Renee doesn't do that kind of thing. But actually, I realized that Renee's actually quite sciencey, because Renee studies a lot of things that have to do with energy, and has since Renee was like 15 years old. So let's talk about those things, because this is where we're going to start to kind of detangle the frequencies between science and spirituality. So when I was in high school, I was like not a happy camper, and I didn't like my science classes except for chemistry, and I did not like my math classes except for geometry. But what's interesting is that also during that entire time frame, like that was 9th grade, because I had just moved. We just moved into our new house, and I didn't have any friends, and so I was trying to. I'm just somebody who likes to learn. I like to read. I like to learn. I like to grow. It's just my jam. You know what I mean? I'm kind of a nerd like that, and so I didn't really have anybody that I was like eating lunch with. I didn't have anybody that like I was sitting and talking to in class. I didn't have anybody I was walking to class with. And so I spent a lot of time by myself. And it's interesting because I didn't mind not having people, because honestly, I kept myself very occupied. I started reading different books about chakras. I would read books about, I would say more about like the energetic bodies, and trying to understand, because then if you started learning about the chakras, it was going to take you down a journey of learning about frequencies and vibrations of sound and color, and how people have healed with that. And then I was like, oh my God. So I was like, okay. So everything is just frequencies. Everything is just vibrations, right? And so I think one thing we've gotten a little twisted on here is that, hold on, sound frequencies. Oh my gosh, my ADHD is really, it's really taking me to a lot of distances today. I don't know what I was gonna say. I think I was just talking about the fact that I was in school and I liked to learn and it was really fun, and I started learning about energy and chakras and colors and vibrations, and I started really wondering, like, what else can I do with this? What else does this mean? So I'll tell you right now, okay, this is where it comes in. I realized that that was my freedom in a situation that I could not control, in a situation that didn't feel good to me. You know what I mean? Like, we moved my freshman year of high school the day after my birthday. And my birthday is kind of at the beginning of the school year because my birthday is October 3rd. So with that being said, and especially we started school a little bit later up north. So we started, like, I would say early September. We usually started like the week after Labor Day. You know what I mean? So, or the week right before Labor Day. So I got to go to school for like a month and then we moved. And so, yeah, I didn't really have a lot going on. I was pretty upset. If you can imagine, you know, this feisty, sassy little 15-year-old basically saying, like, you're ruining my life. You're taking me away from my friends. You're taking me away from my boyfriend. You've just dismantled everything that I hold dear and real. And now I have to start all over again. Well, when I started all over again, it actually opened up a lot of avenues, because this is where I really started digging into astrology and energy. And so when I had this free time, it was like, this has evolved over 20 something years of my life of wanting to understand more about energy and more about how we can actually utilize it in our lives to set ourselves free. Because it doesn't make sense to me, and it never has, that we just got plopped into this life and then everything just happens. That it just happens, right? Because I'll tell you right now that a lot of things that have happened that I didn't like that happened, to myself, it was like, what are you gonna do? So it's like, you just take it. You just take it. You just have to take it. It's like, no, I don't though, because I feel that there's another way. I feel that there is like this secret hidden avenue that I can actually tap into, and nobody even needs to understand it or be aware of it. Like, I'm the only one that has to be able to connect with it. And then if I do this, and I do this well, and I understand this well, and I'm able to transcend the matrix of my human existence and everybody else's human existence, what is available for me there? What happens next? It's just like, poof, holy crap. It's like, I take control of my life. I take responsibility for myself. I mean, I did that at like 14, 15 years old, where I basically had decided, and this was actually before we moved into that house, where I started at the new school. I had decided around the age of like 14 years old that, like, I'll figure this out on my own. I will take care of myself. I will raise myself, you know? And so I feel like all of that led me to wanting to understand how. And not because I had to go get a job as a child and I'm going to move out and I'm going to take care of myself. I did move out before I graduated high school. I did get a job. I did, you know, do all of those things. But to me, it was more about being able to free myself mentally and emotionally from a situation that I did not choose. And so that was me at like 15 years old. Well, I'm going to be 42 in a few weeks. So let's flash forward to all of the different experiences that have been experienced, all of the new things that have been learned on top of all of those things, and let's bridge the gap. You know what I mean? Like, let's see what's available for us now, because that was a long time ago. And I've manifested so much. I've created so much. I have magnetized so much. And I've learned so much. I've grown so much. I've evolved so much. I've built so much. And I think sometimes I forgot to like really pay attention to everything that I was doing, because when you're busy and you're a mom and you've got a lot of stuff on your plate and you're navigating all these different things, or you're spinning all of these plates, I think sometimes we want to be very intentional with our manifestations, and we want to be very intentional with our energy, except for the fact that we manifest things and we completely don't realize it because we're like, okay, what's next? What's next? What's next? Okay, you need to be here. You need to go there. We need to go to that. All right, dinner will be here. I got a client there. I got to go do this. You know, and it's like round and around and around and around and around and around and around. And then it's like, take some time to really reflect back on what you have manifested. Because I guarantee there are things that you have manifested that you didn't even realize that you manifested, because you were thinking about other things because you were busy, you know? And so it's not like well, look at how busy you are. Can't be surprised that you didn't manifest something because you're not paying attention. It's not like that. What it is we get to pay attention. We get to like slow down a little bit. We get to appreciate a little more. We get to really fine tune the energy. And that's what we're going to do. So I want to bring up a story, and this is the kind of this was a huge part of what created. I kind of have to tell you that I created this entire program around what I'm about to tell you. Okay? So I'm a mother. I have 2 daughters. Kira is my oldest. She will be 17 on the 17th. I have little Miss Kaden, who will be 12 on Halloween. And as a parent, you know that there's certain things that we do and certain things that we say because it's what our parents did and it's what their parents did. And it just becomes this like, that's just what you do kind of thing. And then I realized that's not what I want to do. So when I was little, like most of you when you were little, how many of you baked cookies for Santa? How many of you made sure that you picked out the perfect carrots for the reindeer? How many of you wrote a letter? How many of you tried to stay up or made sure that you hurried up to bed so that way if he happened to step foot into your living room, he would leave the presents because you were sleeping? I really started thinking about this because, you know, I have my little nephew. I don't have boys in my family. Like, it's all girls. And then little Benjamin came along, you know, my sister's little boy, which has really reinvigorated something in me. It's probably because he's not mine. But you know what I mean? Like that feeling of watching that new, wondrous, sweet, innocent curiosity. And, you know, I got to experience so many different things with my own girls. But when you're going through it as a mother or as a father, you know, as the parent of the child, I think there's a lot of self-questioning of like, I hope I'm doing the right thing. I think we all think that, right? Like, I hope I'm not screwing this kid up. I hope that I'm doing the right thing. I hope that they understand that it's coming from a good place. But we really do a terrible disservice to our children by telling them that Santa is not real after we've told them that he is real. Are you getting where I'm going with this? So whether it be, and I mean, some people might not practice this at all. You know what I mean? You might be Jewish or Muslim or Hindu. Like there might be completely different idols in your culture, your holidays, you know what I mean? There might be completely other things that are recognized. And so I'm not taking away from that, but you know, in my life, throughout my life, it was always Santa and the Easter Bunny and the Tooth Fairy. And then at some point, you know, I was sat down intentionally. I was told intentionally for a long time that this thing is real. And then there were times that I was told that it wasn't real by somebody at school or whatever, you know what I mean? Some little ass on the bus stop that was like, hey, by the way. And he, you know, he wants to kind of ruin it for everybody. And I feel bad for that kid too, because to be completely honest, he probably feels kind of bad himself that, you know, other kids get to stay in the magic of this beautiful belief, and now it's been kind of shattered for him, and so now he has to kind of like, you know, hurt people kind of thing, where he's gonna go out and tell everybody on the playground that that thing that you believed for all those years, it's fake, it's real, your parents are lying, they're the ones doing it. And so, but I really like, I sat with this for a while. I sat with this for a while because of the way that it felt in my body. And because I had, you know, I had been contemplating the whole concept of belief, trust, hope, faith. These are such important components in the human emotional spectrum. And I would love to focus on that so much more, because I don't think we do. We think about attracting things into our lives, magnetizing things into our lives, acquiring things in our lives, making things easy in our lives, and all those things. But like, let me tell you about the magic of belief, faith, hope, and trust. And now that is the pivoting factor. It is not when you hit a certain number in your bank account. It is not when you have a certain number of followers on your social media. It is not because, I don't know, it's not because of the things that we think it is in life or in business. It is truly about connections. It is truly about love. It is truly about caring. It is truly about integrity. It is truly about just like caring so much about all of us. But when we have, even if our beliefs and our feelings are different, that's okay. What's not okay is like, I have a bad day, and then I think that you should also have a bad day. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to work, and I had a really crappy morning, and I show up in a crappy mood, and you're beaming with sunshine. And you're just like, as soon as you see me, because you're empathic, you already feel it. You're like, oh shit, Renee is not having a good day right now. I know it's only like 8:56, but she's already having a bad day. I can tell by her body language, I can tell by her huffing and puffing and all of those things. And then you notice that because you see that I'm having a not so good day, that you immediately start feeling like, I have to hide my joy. I have to hide my happiness. Has this ever happened to you, where you had to like, you felt like you had to conceal how happy or how good you felt because somebody that you care about, you know what I mean, is having a really crappy day, and you don't want them to get more upset about your happiness? What the heck is up with that? Like, let's just really think about that for a second. Like, really think about this with me. Like I said, this entire program is us having a discussion, you and me. Let's talk about it. How often do you feel like if you're in a bad mood, because we're going to play this both ways, we can't just do this one-way street, like you're happy and the other person's upset and they want you to be upset, and that hurts a lot. We can also be doing this as well. And I can absolutely tell you that I'm not going to let myself off the hook, but I'm trying to think of the last time I may have done this, and I can't think, but I'm sure if my husband was here, he would be able to come up with something. But we're all capable of doing this, and I'm sure we've all done this. Even if we're not doing it a lot, we've done it from one time to another, where we've been in a foul mood, and somebody else that we love, maybe it's your sister, maybe it's your partner, maybe it's your kid, maybe it's your parent, maybe it's a coworker, and they were like, oh my God, I'm having a great day. And then you were like, must be nice. And they're like, I'm sorry I'm having a good day and you're not having a good day. And it's like, how much sense does this make? To make anybody feel like they have to mirror our experiences. Mirroring people's experiences. This is another thing we're going to be diving into here, because of the fact of just what I said. And this actually has the ability to drive relationships apart. Because, and I talked about this briefly in Sacred, so anybody who is wanting to do more feminine embodiment work, goddess archetypal work, it's about sensuality, intimacy, it's about the sacred light of womanhood. I mean, it's all of those things. But we did talk about, the fact that sister wounds are often caused by a feeling of distance, meaning like, I don't feel like we can talk anymore. I don't feel like we're sharing the same life experience anymore. Something has clearly kind of created a wedge and has kind of drifted people apart from one another, right? So, but that can be misconstrued, and that over time can become like this cankerous sore, because it's really a lot of misunderstanding that maybe you were on a certain point of your cycle and your friend was at a different point in her cycle. And perhaps the point of your cycle was the glowing, luminous, and the one in hers was the self-deprecating and, I'm feeling like a big sack of garbage today. And then you're like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling so great. Let's go and get mani-pedis and go out to lunch and just have a great day. And she's like, I am in my sweatpants and I am not leaving my couch because I am currently devouring a carton of ice cream. And she wants you to join her on the couch and have a rom-com day eating ice cream. And you're like, no, it's a beautiful day. I feel great. Let's go have fun. Now, these kinds of issues can absolutely drive a wedge in somebody's relationship, not because, like, on paper, the way I just said it, it's kind of like, oh, well, no big deal. Of course, no big deal. But in the psyche of a human being, it can very much be a big deal. So, for instance, if the two individuals are emotionally intelligent, they are mature, they are anchored into their wisdom, and they completely understand that they are not meant to be the main character in somebody else's story. This is going to go really well, because the friend that's having a great day will probably be like, you know what, I'll check in with you later. I'm so sorry you're having a crappy day. Like, sending you so much love, and maybe I'll drop a coffee off later, but I know that I'm feeling really good, and I gotta go get some stuff done. I want to go. And then the other friend's like, you know what, I completely get it. Like, thank you so much for understanding. And I certainly wouldn't want you to waste your day feeling, all down in the dumps with me just because I am. Go do your thing, do you, live your life, have a great day. I'll talk to you later. If you can bring me a coffee, that would be great. If you can't, don't worry about it. Like, that feels so good. It feels so easy, right? But what tends to happen is the one who's having a good day, maybe she starts not having as good of a day because her expectation was today's a great day and everybody should feel the same way as me. And when she realizes that not everybody does, it feels like a little, in her sails. And so now maybe she's not as fired up and as sassy and fun as she was, 20 minutes ago before she got on this phone call. Maybe the friend who just wants to kind of hang out on the couch, maybe she's feeling a little resentful because, a couple weeks ago when her friend was feeling that way, she made sure to bring over all the best movies. She stopped and grabbed food. She really went all out to make sure that this low, self-deprecating day was going to be, she was going to take care of it. She was going to nurture it. She was going to support everything. And she feels a little bad now because I went all out for you and you felt like crap, and now you could give two shits about me, but off she goes to get her hair and nails done. That's what really happens. A thought, a story, an emotion. A thought, an emotion, a story. But the thought will always happen first. And then the emotions come, and then we start getting tangled in a wild narrative. Now, these are all part of coding that exists within you, because things that have been added onto the hard drive. Because you came in with a hard drive. Your hard drive came in perfect for you in your life because of the different things that you are here to navigate. So let's play with this ideology. Before you come in, while you're in between incarnations, You are spending a lot of time with your soul family, and you're spending time with guides and angels and different beings that are here to escort you along the way towards your evolution, towards your journey of remembrance of who you truly are. And so, you know, you're at the in-between and you're having all of these really lighthearted conversations, and you're like, yeah, it's going to be great. I'm going back, and I'm signing my contracts of all the different things that I'm here to experience, and the different people that I'm going to meet, the different paths I'm going to cross, the different choices that I have to make, blah, blah, blah. All looks good. Yep, sign it. Done. And then you come into Earth. You're like, because of my contract and the way my contract is structured and the different things that I have to experience and the different people that I have to meet, I feel like it would be really good for me to be born into that particular family. And I will remember everything. And then you pick your people and you become born, and you forgot it all. You forgot all of it. It was like, oh no, I forgot. What was I here for? What was I doing? And what happens is, like, in your little itty bitty brain, your baby self, you know, you're like, wait a second. I know I came here for something. I know there's a purpose. But then your parents and your grandparents and all the other people are like, oh, we don't worry about nothing. We're just happy little baby. And then they ooh and ah. And then as you do things, they ooh and they ah. And then you get older and they say no, and they say yes, and they say good job, and they say no, we don't do that, and yes, we do this, and no, we don't talk like that, and yes, we do this, and that's how we hold the fork, and that's how we brush our teeth, and this is how we wipe our bum, and this is how we wipe our nose, this is how we read, this is how we look at colors, this is yes and no, and yes and no, and yes and no. So you can understand how the programming got a little messed up, right? You came in with the hard drive. You came in with some initial programming. Then something overrided the system. I believe that we have to go through this on purpose. It came through in a journaling that I did not too long ago, that like Persephone went into the underworld to learn so much. I feel like there's that, like, we also have to go through some type of an underworld journey in order to remember. And all of the things that we experience are mirrors, are reflectors to our own personal soul experience, to be understood, to be healed, to be cleared, to be learned, to be moved, to be activated. And so I'm going to explain that in a much more comfortable way for anybody that might still feel a little confused as to like what that means, or how that comes together, you know. But to me, we are really, really, really so much more powerful than we have been told, than we have been taught, than we have been granted in our human existence. The fact that energy cannot be created nor destroyed, simply moves and exchanges from one party to the next. It changes its form, it changes how it functions, but energy itself is constant. This is something that really fascinated me, because as somebody who has always wanted to establish a very strong format of freedom in her life, it was like, I can't control how my mom operates. I can't control how certain people are. I can't control the things that are happening in my life that, you know, as a kid, I just don't have that kind of control because I'm not an adult. You know what I mean? Thor, you need to calm down. Get under the table. Go. He really doesn't like thunderstorms. You'll probably be able to hear him breathing. You go. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Okay. So when we are trying to establish things for ourselves in our lives, we usually have a lot of different people telling us a different story about that. Maybe you wanted to become a business owner and they were like, yeah, business is really hard. And you were like, ooh, that doesn't sound like what I want, really hard. I actually wanted to take chemistry 2 my senior year, and I was told not to by my guidance counselor. I was highly discouraged from taking it because she asked me, I just had a conversation with this about this with somebody not too long ago, that when I was getting ready to plan my senior year of classes, I remember going into my guidance counselor's office, and it was the only thing, like, I really didn't have many credits that I needed anyway by that point. I just needed like English, I needed a science, or actually I didn't need a science because I didn't end up taking a science. I didn't need many credits, but I did want to take chemistry 2. I remember sitting with my guidance counselor, and she was like, so what are you thinking for next year? And I was like, I would actually really like to talk to you about taking chemistry 2. She was like, okay, so let's look at your transcripts. And she was like, wow. She was like, you did really well in Chem 1. Are you going into science? Like, are you going to plan on being a science major in college? Are you thinking of, working with chemistry, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, no. I said, I have no intention of working with science. I have no intention of being a science major. I have no intention of I don't even know if I will ever take another science class after this, is pretty much what I told her. Because honestly, that was true. I didn't think to myself to say something that would be different because maybe she needs to hear something different in order to support me in this part of my journey. So I told her the truth, and I told her, yeah, no, I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. It's probably not going to have anything to do with science, but I did really well in Chem 1, so I would love to take the second class. And she said to me, honey, if you're not going into chemistry or science, or that's not going to really be reflected in your major, after high school, I don't really see any reason why I would recommend that for you, why you would take that. I was like, because I want to. And she was like, it's probably going to be really, really, really hard. So I didn't take Chem 2. And I'm kind of upset that I didn't, except for the fact that now I feel like I have access to so much information that I can access myself. You know what I mean? We have the beautiful internet. We have so many different books. We have ebooks. We have audiobooks. We have so many different ways to connect. And so I have read books about sound frequencies, healing vibrations, quantum entanglement, quantum mechanics, quantum physics, light, alchemy, transmutation, chakras, elements. I mean, I've studied so many different pathways of working with energy, and that's really what is given birth to this program, because I am wanting to help set people free from their own thoughts, their own beliefs, their own structure of matrix within them that is absolutely capsizing what's possible. You know what I mean? Like the potential that's available is something to really dance within and party and celebrate, and it's like dripping deliciousness everywhere. But that's not where we tend to live. I think we tend to live in the fact that somebody's going to show up and tell us that Santa isn't real. And because I really felt that this was one of the most terrible things, aside from religion, that one could do to a child, and because I have such a strong connection to the kingdom and realms of elementals, I said to my husband, I was like, this isn't good enough, and we're going to come up with our own way of honoring the elementals throughout the year and explaining it to our children without scaring them or making them feel like we have just done the ultimate deception, because that's a terrible thing to live with as a child. Can you go to that place? And can you feel when you got some truth bomb as a child that absolutely changed how you would see, how you would believe, how you would move, how you would be directed in your life moving forward after that point? Think about that for a second, really, as we're having our discussion, Because it could have been the Tooth Fairy, it could have been the Easter Bunny, it could have been I don't know. If you talk about leprechauns on St. Patrick's Day, like, I don't know. But I also, because of the different things that I practice, which is Letha and Mabon and Beltane and like all the Sabbats and the solstices and the equinoxes, like that has a lot of elemental energy surrounded it. And so my kids have been raised with that. So what's interesting is that, you know, it was never even a consideration in Kira's mind that these things might not be really happening. And when she was 13 years old, we had to have a conversation with her about that. And she cried her eyes out, which made me cry because I felt so bad. But what we had told her, and what we will eventually share with our other daughter, is that the belief that we have in the magic is what feeds the magic. It's like leaving an offering, you know, for a deity or a fairy, you know, in your yard or on your altar. It's like leaving an offering. Your belief is like leaving an offering for the universe. And what happens in return is this co-creation. So it's not just like Santa or the Tooth Fairy or the Easter Bunny that are doing these extraordinary things, you know, and connecting with all of these children in one night. Like, oh my gosh, that's so magical. But it's us that are partaking in that. Sharing in the wonder, sharing in the hope, sharing in the magic, the belief. And that's what it is for me. Like, this is why, like, moving forward, this is like from now until after New Year's, this is my favorite time of the year, from September 1st until, like, I don't know, January 10th or something. This is my favorite because this is where we really see the magic. And so I actually contemplated whether or not I wanted to offer this program closer to the holidays, or if I wanted to do it now. And I just kept getting a pull, like Spirit was like, no, now, because it's going to be so much more important to get people in the alignment before the holidays, before that time of year when it's like, we believe, we have faith, we have hope, we're compassionate, we're caring, we're loving. I want to take you to all of those really beautiful, magical frequencies and experiences and detangle the hard stuff, because I don't think that it's supposed to be hard. And I don't think that we came here with this ultimate agenda, you know. I don't think that Source or God or the universe has like this huge agenda for us. I feel that we came here, we have a purpose. We're here to establish that. We're here to figure it out. We're here to find it. We're here to remember so many things about us. We're here to heal things, expand things, evolve things. We're here to move. We're here to grow. We're here to love. We're here to share. We're here to create unity and a collective that can expand in consciousness and in magic and in unlimited possibilities and potential. So I really get very excited about like teaching this, because when I look back on so many years of my life, these were the things that I was missing. These were the things that I was missing in terms of, like, I had been an energetic healer from the time I was like, I don't know, maybe 16 years old, where I would put my hands on people and they would tell me, I can feel that. Like, something's happening. I can feel the energy. I'm not even going to go into all the stories, but there's stories that have been shared about things that I've done, you know, 16, 17, 18, 19 years old, in the realms of energy and healing. Now, this is where it started to take a bit of a turn for me, where it was like I focused on healing for so long. Now, I focused a lot on healing also because I had a lot to heal. There was a lot to heal in this individual. And I also believed that in order for me to really do the things on this planet that I believe that I came here to do, that my healing journey was going to be an essential component in any of that. And that's 100% true. I would have never been able to identify or unlock or really dive into my spiritual gifts at the level that I have been if I have not done the healing work that I've done, because I would have never believed that it was possible. I would have never seen the potential in that. I just wouldn't have, because I would have been clouded by the illusions of not being good enough and being inadequate and being unworthy, and like there's nothing special about me, so why would that be a thing, And so that's where we're going to be going as well, because the more that you can unlock this stuff for yourself, you're going to see the truth. And the truth is not that you can't do it, or you're not good enough, and it's not going to work, and people aren't going to be there, and nobody likes you, and relationships are hard, and money is hard, and business is hard, and life is hard. We're going to be really restructuring our lens in this class, because everything that you are doing and manifesting in your life is based on a belief. And that's where it was like those two things got so magnetized towards each other. I was like contemplating belief and how powerful belief is, and how belief codes really do shape so much of our lives and our direction and where we're going, and what we believe we're a vibrational match for is what we absolutely attract. It is the byproduct of who we are. And there is also the fact that we've got to move forward. I can't just sit here and constantly heal. I can't just say that, well, I'm still healing, so I'm not allowed to go do that thing. My healing process and everything that I've navigated throughout these many, many years of healing and growth and development and just learning and understanding so much more about myself, it's catapulted me into learning so much more about energy and how it works, and taking it to even deeper depths. Because what happened was I felt like I'm spending a lot of time on my healing process. Like it's almost like all I do. And there's things that I really want to do also. And then I would say, oh, but you got to heal this first. Let's not get those two things tangled. So this is right now, right off the bat, this is a perfect example of what's happening frequency-wise. Okay? I'm going to give you some examples of how we hold these frequencies. So frequency-wise, you might believe that you have to give in order to receive. That is incorrect, because those are two separate frequencies. The giving is a separate frequency than the receiving. Okay? So sometimes people will make like a gratitude list or a manifestation list, or, do something kind or nice for other people because they're really hoping that something wonderful is going to happen for them. And it's like, well, you're crossing these wires all into each other. You know what I mean? These two energetic threads that come through, you're tangling them up. They're getting knotted. And really, they should be moving parallel to one another, like they're getting woven in, not crossing each other at all. They don't get crossed at all. They're straightforward. Okay? It is very similar to the frequencies of spirituality and wealth. So a lot of times, it's a very hard thing for somebody who believes that they are spiritual to also hold the frequency of wealth. Because in their coding, they may have a belief that people who are spiritual are very humble. People who are spiritual live in poverty. People who are spiritual give all of their belongings away to the poor. People who are spiritual don't believe in money, don't believe in having possessions, and that money is the root of all evil, so it would be very important for me to not get tangled up in that. So somebody who holds that belief code in that frequency would probably not be able to hold the frequency of wealth at the same time. And so that person might actually decide that if I'm going to be spiritual, then I must at some point admit defeat on the journey towards generational wealth, because I have a code that says that's not possible. We can recode it. You know what I mean? But we've got to understand and we've got to detangle what's there first. So if you have the wealth frequency, and that wealth frequency is coded very specifically to say that, like, I don't have to give to receive. I receive because I receive. I give because I give. Take a really deep breath with that one for a moment. Take a really deep breath with that one for a moment. Because I actually think this one might be a little triggering. I really do. You don't have to give in order to receive. You don't. But I'm curious how many of you believe that you do. And it's not a, like, if you do, please just admit that you do. Don't be like, I do and I don't want to tell her because she's going to think I suck. No. I want to know because I want to know. I want to know because I want to see how this evolves over the rest of the month. I want to see how it changes. I want to see how you navigate this. That if you're saying to me, I actually can't hold those two frequencies at the same time based on the beliefs that have been curated within me over time, then we probably want to detangle that. And that means that I can hold a wealth frequency because my wealth frequency is a frequency of receiving. It's a frequency of kindness. It's a frequency of success. It's a frequency of I receive because I'm awesome, because I'm good, because I am here, because I am human, because I am divine. My wealth frequency can absolutely flow parallel to my spiritual frequency because I also believe in the coding of my wealth frequency that wealth is a gift from God. But if it gets tangled with this frequency over here that says spirituality is about having nothing but God, then I can't get these frequencies in alignment with each other. And the coding is getting screwed. And they are finding themselves in more and more entanglement because I can't get really clear on my beliefs regarding these two frequencies. Because I believe that I do need money, but I also believe that God will provide. Right? So, but this is where we get tangled. Is it not? Is it not where we get tangled? This is just an example. And there's so many other places that we get tangled. We got blind spots everywhere. So, but you can see how, like, you might think to yourself, well, I did so much for her. Why is she not giving back to me? I did so many things. I was there for her when she needed me. I helped her when she was sick. I picked up her kid from school. I fed her cat when she was out of town. And I just needed her to do this one thing, and she said no, she couldn't do it because she had to work. And it's just really unfair because I've given and I've given and I've given, and when's it going to be my turn to receive? Screw her. I'm never doing anything for her again. Knotted, tangled, knotted, tangled, knotted, tangled. I want to take all of these knotted, beautiful frequencies of threading and sequences and coding, and I want to put them back in their little organized spots so that they can have the proper expression of their coding, so that their coding is not getting tangled up in other codings, okay? Because it's like, if I believe that I am worthy of greatness because I have this dream and I have this vision and I know that it must be real and inevitable for me because I feel it so strongly in my body, how could it be incorrect? How? Right? But then there'll be another frequency of doubt that is coded very properly with all of the reasons why this would not be effective and this would not work. It's the stories that you tell. So we've got a frequency of hope. I'm very hopeful. I believe in myself. I know that if this is happening in my body, that I feel it so strongly in my heart, that I'm so passionate in my soul, that I'm so driven. I can see it, I can taste it, I can envision it so well. The time frame is not important. It's really not. I have to tell you, it's not. But we're going to get caught up in the time frequency. That's another one. We'll go over that. But this is where we get all tangled and we screw ourselves over. Okay? Is that it's like, well, I want this and I can feel it and I'm moving towards it and I keep taking a step and I keep taking a step. But then this doubt frequency over here that is coded with all of the experiences that reflect and validate the significant feeling of doubt that I have in my body right now, I'm going to have to recode this doubt. I have to recode it. Meaning that, like, it's not a problem to have a doubt frequency. You know what I mean? Like, there are definitely things that you will be messaged by some strange person pretending to be your great aunt that lives in a different state that you haven't talked to in 6 years and really wants to know if she can borrow some money because something really bad just happened and she doesn't have any left. And so the doubt frequency would be buzzing like crazy in my body because I'm like, oh, come on now. First of all, if this person needed anything from me, this wouldn't be how she communicates it. I would have heard it from my grandmother, from my mother, then to my cousin, then to me, da 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 da. You know? So it's not that the doubt frequency is bad, the fear frequency is bad, the distrusting frequency is bad. All of those frequencies, frequencies have purpose for different times, different reasons, different occasions. They just don't have purpose to be there all day, every day, all the time, completely consuming all of the positivity that could be there instead. So it's like, think about where you're paying attention, where your currency is going, because where you pay energy to is where the account for that grows. Okay, so it's like, if I were, and you can actually do a little thing with this. This actually might be a fun idea. If you get out little jars, little mason jars, like old candles, old jars for seasonings, I don't know, get creative. But if you had like different jars that had a different label on it to reflect different things that you think about. You think about money, you think about your kids, you think about your job, you think about your future, you think about your past. You know what I mean? Like, you've got a jar for each thing that you know that you spend a lot of time thinking about. Vague, general things. You can get specific if you want to. And then I would use change, or you could use paper clips. You can use whatever you have on hand. You don't have to use anything specific. But I would use it as a symbol of like where you're paying your attention. Where is this currency going? When you're thinking about all of the different things that you're thinking about, I want you to pay attention to that. Have some method of awareness within yourself of like, where is all of my energy, my time, my intelligence, like all of that, where is it going today? Because I find that people will think about the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, but they don't necessarily make a move on it. You know, it's like they're waffling, they're unsure, they're uncertain, they're indecisive. It's like, if you're not sure, like, that's fine. You know, like, I wouldn't make an impulsive decision just for the sake of saying you made a decision, but I would focus and I would try to detangle some of these emotions, and I would try to detangle some of these thoughts and beliefs, because these patterns, they keep you on a merry-go-round. They keep you on just like this predictable path. Same thing, same thing, same thing every day. Same thing every day. Same thing. Oh, here we go again. Here it comes. Whoop, there we go again. Every day. Same thing. Predictable, predictable, predictable. Sundays are predictable. Saturdays are predictable. Wednesdays are predictable. Mondays are predictable. They're all predictable. And so when everything is predictable, it feels like you're living in a loop, a time loop, a sequence. And you are. You've coded your life with a very specific sequence in which all things will be, well, most things will be predictable. And when somebody who's like, well, I don't want to make the same amount of money that I've been making. I want to make more. I don't want to live the same way I've been living. I want to do something different. I want to lose weight. I want to eat clean. I want to go to the gym. I want to buy a new car. I want to take a trip. I want to start taking my finances more seriously. I want to start learning how to do something very wonderful that I've been thinking about for a very long time. And we have every opportunity to move towards it. But I think we think about it a lot more than we move. We think and we think and we think and we think. And in the process of all of this thinking, in the quantum field, things are firing off and they're getting very confused and they're getting tangled with other things that are altering the manifestations, that are altering the codings, the frequencies, and the sequences. And we want to step out into a much more playful field. We want to open up to so many other frequencies, and we want to understand more about how we can connect with these frequencies, how we can detect them, how we can recode them, rewire them, really play with our own inner circuitry. So there's going to be healing in this class, but it's going to be more of like a clearing, you know? I want to move you forward. And we will figure out exactly where the healing needs to be, because trust me, as I move you forward, there will be blocks that are like, can't do that. Don't know if that's going to work. Ooh, I'm afraid. Ooh, trigger. Ooh, not going to happen. Ooh. But that's where we're like, okay, well, then let's address it now. You know, it's time to move you to the next level. It's time to move your life forward. The world is starting to, well, the world is moving forward always, but I'm seeing things in the collective that I've never seen before. I've never felt before. The downloads and the channels are so much more intense than they've ever been before. So I know something significant is happening, and that is why this program was born, is to help us understand so much more about what's really happening behind the curtain of ourselves, so that we can pull that freaking curtain down, express who we are, be the full expression of that, you know, with kindness, with love, with all the things, but like also being the architect of our lives, being the artist that is responsible for each brushstroke on the canvas. It's your canvas. So let's create a masterpiece. Okay? There will be homework. I'm going to post it, so just keep an eye out for that. We are going to be meeting back up on Wednesday and Friday this week. So we have 3 sessions this week. The schedule is, you would just have to scroll down a little bit, but there are 2 posts. The one is just kind of an introductory one. The other one is with the entire schedule for frequency. The replays are going to be streaming, so even if you can't make it live, not a problem, because all of the replays will be here. I will leave them up in the featured section. Please don't be bashful. Introduce yourself, share your story, share the things that you're also navigating at this time, because honestly, it just really heightens the energy so much more for the group, and enhances the group experience as a result of that, really helping you to anchor in, integrate, and embody the different concepts that we will be addressing in this program. So today I really wanted to just introduce so many different things to you, kind of give you a strong idea of what we're going to be working on while touching upon some of those subjects throughout. I will post the homework for you guys, and then other than that, I will see you on Wednesday afternoon, and I can't wait. I'm really looking forward to see what comes through in this program. I feel like Spirit is cheering like crazy right now, because it's like, oh my gosh, it's time. She's doing it, she's teaching it. Oh my gosh, she's sharing it with everybody. And so I'm really excited to do that for you. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to tell you what the homework is now. So I want you to reflect on your experience with whenever you found out that something that you thought was real was not real. And it doesn't have to necessarily be the things that we discussed. It could be if your parents got divorced. It could be if you did move. It could be a lot of different things. But the whole idea is about understanding a belief, something that you believed, and then something happened to kind of capsize that belief, right? It was like, I believe in Santa. I'm going to be quiet because my daughter's home. She just walked in. So I believe in this. And then it's like somebody came in and then really crumbled that, right? It was like, no, that's not true. Or like, you know, when my parents got divorced, it was like, wait, what? Like what? Wait, come again? Wait, what? What's happening? Oh, and that absolutely had a very strong impact on my beliefs, how I would believe things moving forward, what I trusted, what I had hope for, what I didn't trust, what I doubted, where I was very defensive, very protective. And what ultimately structured this individual, you know, over time, based on beliefs, based on non-beliefs. And so this is going to be a big part of the class. It's not the only part of the class or the program, but our belief systems and our belief patterns are going to be a very big part of this, because it really does show up in every area of our lives. Whether it be that, like, I only buy organic because I believe that that's the best thing for me. Somebody else is like, I don't buy organic because I believe it doesn't matter and my bottom line is saving money. Somebody's going to be like, well, I believe that, you know, Donald Trump should be president. And somebody else is going to come through and they're going to be like, well, I believe Kamala Harris should be president. And then somebody else is going to, you know, like, I could do this all day. We could do this all day. Just because somebody has a belief doesn't make it fact, okay? Lots of people on this planet, lots of different beliefs. So I want you to kind of go into your own beliefs, your own values. What do you believe about things when nobody's caring? If nobody were to ask you about your beliefs in spirituality, politics, family life, marriage, education, finances and wealth, entrepreneurship, all of these things, how would you answer? If it was an anonymous thing, or if you were by yourself and you were having a conversation with somebody, you know, very candidly about these things, what do you feel is real for you? What is true? What is correct? What do you believe? And also feeling into when a belief was shattered and how you feel that that impacted you, because it's going to come up in this program. That's all I can say, is that it's absolutely going to come up in this program. And I want to help you navigate this on a very deep level, but also very transformational, very transmutational, big, good, amazing stuff. So please connect with me if you have any questions. I will see you on Wednesday. Post in the group, share, introduce yourself. We're going to have a lot of fun. I'm so excited. Thank you so much for being here. I will see you Wednesday. Bye for now.